Okay everyone, Monday morning, lovely to have you with me today as we kick off a brand new week. A week that will see Celtic return against Hearts on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, we're not too far away from kick-off, still plenty of time to build ahead to things, but we're getting there. It's not last week, which is a big positive. Another positive is I got away from you lot over the weekend, a couple of days off to just recharge. Didn't even really... Well, I was going to say I didn't think about Celtic. Obviously, we all think about Celtic every day, but didn't really look into things too much. So I'm back, recharged, and ready to go. Stevie's going to join me, kinda, not actually, but he's going to be on this video later on, so any fans of Stevie can look forward to that. He's been celebrating a birthday that ends in a 0. So you can probably have a pretty good guess which one it is. He'll reveal that later on. He's also been doing the Celtic Park tour. So he sent some stuff in from that. He even had a meal at whatever the restaurant is. The number 7 restaurant at Celtic Park. So we can dissect that as well. Just like we dissected Ryan 118's death row meal. Big Mac. Still can't get over that. Anyway, we're kicking off with an international roundup featuring some rather worrying developments with Kasper Schmeichel. Yeah, an eventful one for Kasper last night, playing for Denmark. They were in the Nations League quarter-final, which I swear is a new thing, but they were up 1-0 from the first leg against Portugal, so up 1-0 from the first leg in Denmark. They were in Lisbon last night for the return leg, eventually lost 5-3 on aggregate. The tie went to extra time. It was a real topsy-turvy, eventful match. Portugal took the lead. Denmark equalised, Portugal went 2-1 up, 2-2. Portugal then scored a late goal to make it 3-2 and take the tie to extra time. And then in extra time, they just kind of ran away with it a little bit, scored 2 goals without reply, won 5-3 on aggregate. So it was an action-packed match. Kasper Schmeichel saved a penalty in the first 10 minutes, I think 6 minutes in, from Cristiano Ronaldo, which was cool. It was a pretty tame penalty, to be honest, but it's shown that Kasper can save things. He wasn't entirely convincing for Portugal's first goal. It was an own goal, but he kind of clambered and looked a little bit slow, if I'm honest. Wasn't entirely convincing with a punch-out for the third goal Portugal scored, but he also did make a brilliant save in extra time from Bruno Fernandes. So it was a bit of a mixed bag from Kasper in terms of his performance. But the big story here was that he was involved in a bit of an injury scare during extra time. He hurt himself. So the incident was one of those where Diogo Jota, the Portugal and Liverpool forward, goes through and goal. The offside flag stays down. He goes round Kasper Schmeichel, who hurts his left shoulder. And then Jota puts it into the net. The flag then goes up. I did see some people saying that it was an absolute disgrace that the flag stayed down, and this is, it's just a matter of time before someone gets a horrendous injury one day when the flag stays down. And I don't know, I guess that's true to an extent. I just kind of think that's where we are at with VAR right now, and you've got to let things run. And people were saying, the flag should definitely have gone up because it was a clear offside from Jota. Jota is offside, but that's relatively close, I would say. I would be keeping the flag down there if I was a linesman, as per the VAR guidelines that they're given. But anyway, far from ideal for Kasper Schmeichel to be injuring himself trying to prevent a goal that wouldn't have counted anyway. So he goes down holding his left shoulder. He gets treatment for a few minutes, and I think he would have come off had Denmark not used all of their subs. Denmark at this stage had made all 6 of their subs, so the 5 they get during the 90 minutes, you get an extra one in extra time. They'd already made all of these subs, so had he not been able to continue, they would have had to put an outfielder in goal, and they would also have had to continue with 10 men, basically ending their chances in the tie, and they were just a goal down at this stage as well. So, yeah, in normal circumstances, I think Kasper Schmeichel would have gone off here. He was in real pain, and he got, as I say, treatment for a number of minutes, but he continued, the warrior that he is. And there was then a pretty notable moment, and it was actually the save I mentioned a few minutes ago from Bruno Fernandes, about 5-10 minutes later, where he goes up. It's quite an unorthodox save. He's clearly trying to protect part of his body. He makes an incredible save and then is writhing on the pitch in pain. and he's screaming in agony, and it all looked very very difficult. Actually, a bit of a tough watch, to be honest. You can, because the kind of audio feed picks up him screaming as well, and obviously the commentator picks up on it as well. So yeah, he finished the game for Denmark, again probably out of necessity, but even at full time, because I kind of rewatched extra time just to see exactly what had happened and at the moment and afterwards, and even at full time he walked wearily off the park and looked in a bit of pain. So I've been scouting the Danish media this morning here just to find out if anything has been said, and the best I've come across is this from TV2 Sport, and it's Brian Riemer, the Denmark boss, saying that Schmeichel was badly hit, but I think he is okay. He then told the written press that Schmeichel has been taken for examination together with the national team doctor. However, Riemer does not know whether the examination will be carried out in a hospital. So a pretty short turnaround for Schmeichel and Celtic. We play Hearts just Saturday. This is obviously Monday morning. So I guess at the very least you've got to say there's real doubts over whether Schmeichel's going to be fit to play in that game. We'll find out later in the week from Brendan Rodgers. But he looked really in a great amount of pain there. And at his age as well, you tend to think that maybe recovery is going to take a little bit longer. He's obviously in pretty good nick, really professional, etc. But yeah, that's, as I say, a bit of a concern. Will we end up seeing Sinizalo on Saturday? At the moment, without knowing anything else other than what I've just told you, I would say there's a fair chance that might be the case. But we'll, I guess, wait until Thursday or Friday when Brendan Rodgers speaks to the media and find out more then. By the way, it's not all bad news for Schmeichel and Denmark. Their defeat to Portugal does mean that they're now in the same group of World Cup qualifying as Scotland, as well as Greece, funnily enough, and Belarus. Scotland were battered by Greece 3-0 at Hampden yesterday. I didn't catch a minute of it because I'm not setting an alarm for 4 a.m. to watch a Steve Clarke team play football. Apologies. Anthony Ralston did play the full match. Kieran Tierney, I think, came on about the 55-minute mark, so ended up probably playing 45 minutes or something like that, including stoppage time. So all good there. In terms of those players, obviously not good from a Scotland point of view. You might have some thoughts on that. You might not care at all. Elsewhere, so we had the meeting of Canada and the USA in the fourth place playoff for the CONCACAF Nation. This is a struggle, dear oh dear. The fourth place playoff for the CONCACAF Nations League. Why have they got a fourth place playoff for that? Anyway, the bragging rights went to Alistair Johnson and Canada. They won 2-1. Both players played the full game. Adam Idah scored for Ireland, a late winner on the night against Bulgaria. That made the tie 4-2 on aggregate, so Ireland stay up into Nations League, League B. Apparently that means something. Idah gave it the celebration when he scored his goal late on. He later explained that it was towards people giving him a hard time online. I think he's referring more to Ireland than Celtic, but I guess the point would cover all here. Idah quoted as saying, "I saw a lot of stuff online, so it was just telling people to shut up, really. Obviously, I was frustrated with the first game, but I came on today and did what I've been doing all season. So it was just to the people who were doubting me. I see it all the time, and it's exactly what I did tonight. That's how you shush them. You let your feet do the talking, and I'm sure there won't be nothing else said." And yeah, if Adam Idah wants to shut up a few critics at Celtic as well between now and the end of the season, then I think we'd all love to see that. It's good that he's got a bit of fire in his belly and is ready to go. And obviously great that he scored. He tends to be a player, I think we've seen so far, who a bit of a confidence player. I think he'll go through phases of not scoring. It becomes a bit of a talking point, and that's been the case a couple of times this season. But equally, he goes through runs of scoring quite a lot of goals in a short space of time. So big goal for him, for his country, and he's going to be back at Celtic Park in fine spirits. He was also quoted, talking up Brendan Rodgers and Celtic as making him fall back in love with football after a difficult time at Norwich City with their manager, with their fans, which is something he's quite open about. he spoke about this season being his highest goal scoring season ever in his career and just wanting to build on that. So yeah, sorry, I've not actually got this written down, but I'm just reading it here that he did say, I probably haven't performed as well as the last 6 months of last season, but in terms of putting the goals away, I think it comes down to confidence. So he's admitting that he's not been quite as good this season as he was at the tail end of last season, which I think we'd all agree, but certainly still plenty to come from Adam Idah, and hopefully he can finish the season really strongly. Elsewhere, international stuff, Japan don't play Saudi Arabia until tomorrow. It's a bit of a late one for them in terms of Dyson and Rail getting back. Same goes for South Korea as well. They host Jordan at around the same time tomorrow. So I think it's late Tuesday morning UK time. Okay, that's pretty much what's happening international-wise. Nothing really else going on. Celtic-wise, obviously, things pretty quiet from Lennoxtown, etc. Just the international stuff playing out. Most of our players have played, still got a couple, as I say, to go tomorrow. And from that point, we'll be back and looking ahead to Hearts. I do just want to finish today's video by hearing from the legend Stevie, who, as I say, was celebrating a birthday last week now. And as part of his celebrations, he did the Celtic Park tour. I think he says for the first time since 1996, which was the year I was born. So a hell of a long time ago, it's fair to say. He also indulged in a lovely meal at Celtic Park, which he'll tell you all about. So without further ado, here's Stevie.
Hi Hamish, as you know, we are at the filler stage of the season. This truly does go down as filler. It's international week and you're going to have to get a video of me describing what it was like to do the Celtic Park tour and the dine-in at the Kerrydale Suite. As you know, recently I turned 40. There's that magical number there. I know that I was always very reluctant to discuss my age, but there's no hiding place anymore. The big 4-0, and I've milked it for a few days. I'm still getting something done tomorrow as well. I really am like a true Instagram lassie at this point, and so we did the Celtic Park tour, and it was the first tour since 1996 that I've been on. And at the time, the Jock Stein stand wasn't built; it was the temporary stand, and it was just a case of doing it at the main stand really, and it lasted about half an hour. It was about an hour there though, and you went in, you learned all about Celtic's history from Brother Wilfred obviously forming the club up to the William Maley, Jimmy McGrory era, and then tells you about Jock Stein and everything.
We come back out just
I'm really selling it at this point, aren't I? And then obviously the modern era too. The only criticism I would have is I would say Celtic are really missing not having a museum of history or something there. Like I thought the tour guide John was exceptional, but I think Celtic really would benefit from the the history that the club has, to have a museum there where you could actually go at your own pace and see just how much that Celtic have won over the years, and educate yourself on it. Regardless, so after that, get into the dressing room, and then from there it was up to the executive seats, and then the main thing was going to the Kerrydale Suite where we got the dinner up at the number 7 restaurant. Truly stunning. I'll send you the photos of everything I got there, but it really was worth the admission fee alone, Hamish. I'm sure people at this part want to hear what I had. So it was a roast, carrot and chilli soup. Had a beautiful steak with chips as well, peppercorn sauce, and then I had panna cotta for the first time in my life as well. Truly was a dish deserving of marking me 40 years on this earth, Hamish. One of the greats. But no, all in all, a really fantastic Saturday, and I would urge anybody who hasn't done it to do the tour and dine in for a pretty decent fee, all things considered. I can't remember what the fee was because it actually was purchased for me, but regardless, I'll find it out and I'll send it to you, Hamish, because I'm really at this point a budget version of the padded seat which you can find on Instagram that do this type of thing far better. But I will send over complimentary photos as well so that you can have my voice going over videos and photos and everything to back this up a wee bit and truly pad out what is a dreadful week for content on International Week. Right, cheers.
Wow, he's really selling the stuff I tried to put out here, the engaging content during the international break. Anyway, thanks for that, Stevie. Really appreciate it. He was looking very smart there. Maybe he had enjoyed a few pints at that stage as well. I'm not sure. I've certainly seen him far more steaming than that. Oh, what was the thing about the price as well? I think he sent me the price. £45 it was. Anyway, Stevie will return probably later in this week ahead of Hearts. So you can look forward to all that. For now though, everyone, I'm going to head off. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.